Alright, hold on. Something's not right. Alright. That's more like it. So, what I've somehow found today is, or not today, I recently came across, I didn't even know this existed. I think I'm on a journey now to see just how many obscure fighting game comics I can find, but today I'm actually going to look through my first Tekken comic. I've never actually looked at one in full. We'll see what happens. Alright, hopefully I'm out of the way from this image, but here's the cover. It's a pretty awesome cover too, I might add. Looks like Jin's fighting Hahashi, where I have absolutely no idea. And they're just casually dressed in martial arts gear, fighting in whatever this is, whatever environment they're in, but it's Tekken. It's Tekken. Now this is sweet. So they got a lot of covers for this. This Hahashi has both Jin and Kazuya by the throat. Alright, who do we have down here? Paul, Nina, looks like Brian. Warong's just stuck down at the bottom somewhere with a jack hanging over top of him, of course. Eddie, Kane, Law, Lei, Asuka, Chao Yu, Anna. This is Nina over on the side. Babe. Oh yeah, we'll prominently feature Babe, but Warong just gets stuck in the side and Gang Ryu. Alright. Oh, I also love how they have the little kanji or whatever for Tekken in the background. Didn't notice that initially. Now this was the cover that I initially saw that drew me to this in the first place. For Jin to be the actual devil in this story, I love how Hahashi looks so much more like evil than Jin does. You would think Hahashi was the devil, which, if you follow the Tekken story at all, which none of the main characters of Tekken are necessarily nice people, but that's a whole other conversation. And the infamous Tekken cover that I made an actual drawing challenge from. I'll provide, should have links or something going around here somewhere for that. But yeah, this is what actually gave me the idea to start the Tekken 7 drawing challenge, was this cover right here, which is awesome to me. Though it's interesting, no matter how many times I see this, some images I can find Hahashi's eyes, and then other ones I can't see it because the shadow's too intense. Ooh! Another nice drawn image is Nina and Yoshimitsu. Well, all these different covers, I hope these characters are like in the comic itself. It's featuring a lot of people that may or may not be in here. I know the Mortal Kombat comics, some of them have been guilty of that. And we have Hahashi. It also seems like different artists may have drawn each cover. Well, it has a slew of artists down at the bottom, so I'm assuming that might be the point. Because all the covers are very different from one another, with the exception of the one from the actual game, this one. Okay, character profile, so this must be who's featured in the story, which means a lot of the characters we've seen so far isn't here. So we got Jin, Kazuya, Hahashi, the three main characters of Tekken. I expected them. Nina and Anna, because you need the assassins. Chao Yu and Panda, because for whatever reason they're featured in all the things with Tekken lore outside of the games themselves. Even Blood Vengeance, they were the main characters for some reason. And Paul. I approved this. Okay, we have more Titan Comics advertisements. Right here, follow Comics Titan on Twitter. Throwing that out there since I saw it. And these are all the artists for the comic itself. Just giving fair warning if this starts to get a little random over time. Interesting enough though, I like the silhouette of Nina jumping over a building and the cool pose of Nina on top. And already, we get Nina after Chao Yu and Panda. Though for the record, I like how they did that. That's pretty cool. So whatever this device is that Nina's looking through, they have almost her visual, or from her point of view of looking through whatever this is, showing like whatever is coming through this device. So whatever's showing through this thing from Nina's perspective is right here, almost like you're looking through it too. That's actually pretty cool how they did that. There's a lot of stuff happening in this panel up here. Looks like a lot of panicked people because you have a schoolgirl running with a panda bear just throughout the streets of Japan, so I get it. Dodging traffic as well. Oh my god, never mind. There's a car chasing. Okay, I didn't follow this enough. It's not the girl running through Japan with the panda. It's a random car on the sidewalk chasing said schoolgirl and panda. I didn't notice that the first time. Alright. And the panda bear is outrunning the car. I'm not sure if that's possible or not. I doubt it. Bears are fast, but I don't think they're that fast. Oh, and they run into the military. I'm assuming this is either G-Corp or the Mishima Zaibatsu. I'm not sure which one. G Corporation. Okay. Alright, and there's a lot of guns. Some of them aimed at each other, so gonna dismiss that, but there's a lot of guns aimed at Xiao Yu. Am I crazy of thinking that only this like line of people should have guns aimed and everybody else should just be like waiting in the wings? Because if they fire, they're just gonna shoot each other. That's kind of crazy, but whatever, it's a cool visual. Movies do this too. Looks like we have a hologram of Jin. That also looks pretty cool how they did that. Also, we have a drunk guy just walking up on them in the background here. Oh, it's Paul! Okay. Very impactful shot. I just love how we cut from the guy with the gun basically telling Paul to get out the way to the reveal that it's Paul with him just swinging on the guy. The torque and position of his body, like he got the hell knocked out of him. Like it's just torso's completely twisted, his legs are bowed in, the helmet's been knocked off. Where's the helmet's way over here, the guy's head's this way, like the gun's flying, like he hit the hell out of him. I love this panel. #1 fighter in the universe, self-proclaimed, in case you didn't know. Well, I'm actually glad I'm looking at this. The way they're doing like action poses and stuff is something I really need to keep in mind and take into account. And they're highlighting every different action in each panel very well. It's like, I think he's breaking this guy's neck while kicking this one. That's Xiao Yu dodges bullets somehow. It's Tekken. And the panda's destroying these guys. Also, this is something to take into account too. Back up. This is something that I personally struggle with just because I sometimes don't know what to write here. But like thwam, obviously that's not a word, but stuff like thwam, and on the next page we get thwack and bok and whack. Coming up with onomatopoeia is a weird thing because it's like, how do I don't want to just describe what's actually happening. I want a word for the sound, but it's like, how do you describe a sound that's going to be read in somebody else's mind? If that makes any sense. I think I may be thinking about this a little too much, but it's what comes across my brain when I'm actually putting onomatopoeia in my own comic. And I had that dilemma just like days ago. So like down here we have thwack. Okay, a lot happening here. As Xiao Yu is just kicking people around left and right. We have Nina pop in on her sister. And they start immediately fighting. Yeah, they're kicking the hell out of each other over on this second page. I'm assuming this is like a double spread page. See, here we have gunfire over at Xiao Yu and zang zang. How you get those for bullets, I have no idea, but okay, it looks like Paul's commandeered a vehicle and is driving off. He's driving off with Xiao Yu and the panda. By the way, I love the fact that the panda's name in Tekken is Panda. And Nina catches up with the vehicle and jumps on top. Also, this just hit my brain, but this is an English comic book. Like, this is an English comic book in an English comic book series. It just happened to dawn on me because we obviously know like Tekken is ported from Japan. It's made over in Japan by Namco. I don't know why in my mind I was automatically assuming that this was like a Japanese comic or manga, if you will, but it's not. It's made in English. It looks like it's done in an American comic book style. It reads from left to right. Like, that's very interesting. Now I'm curious, are there any actual mangas of Tekken? If any of you know, please let me know and point me in the direction of it too, by the way. But anyways, we have Kazuya looking like he's up to evil business as usual. It's Kazuya. And he's losing his mind down here. I know I'm probably blocking it, but here in the corner, he looks like he snapped. Oh, he definitely has. So he's having a visual of his devil son and his father, who looks like an animal. Look at the teeth on Hahachi. Oh my god, he has electricity coming out of his eyes, I guess. Apparently he also swings on Anna. Okay, these wide establishing shots, which is something I'm trying to improve on in my own comics. Another thing I'm also trying to get better at is, hopefully I can explain this well, all the details and stuff that they have in the background of this panel right here. I'm trying to get better at illustrating exactly where everyone is in the background. Stuff like panels like this, without having so much detail that it's distracting. Like, obviously you're not going to have all of this in the background of every single panel, but at the same time you need to know where people are, and you just can't have like a static background of just like a color behind them every time. Like, you can get away with it here, which the two characters are taking up most of the space. Okay, and they just run up on King out of nowhere. Alright. And that was almost a potential ball shot that King just jumped over. Alright. Oh, this is so amazing. I love this panel with King, by the way. That's an awesome shot that they drew here. And then Nina shows up out of nowhere and throws her. Is she in the vehicle? Yes, she was. She was driving the helicopter. Okay, yeah, I'm not paying attention to the story, so I'm kind of lost at this. And then we have Yoshimitsu just here. Okay. Okay, and we have a seemingly hooded figure. Before even hitting the next page, I'm gonna assume this is Jin. And I'm right in my assumption. Okay. Jin looks like he's been through it in this panel, but it looks awesome. The details they put in these panels, especially with the character costume, is crazy. So this is after Jin's fight with, was it Azazel? Yeah, a squad meeting here at the top. There's enough detail to pick out which character is which while also not drawing each one of them in great detail. Pulled that off very well. I'm starting to get better about not trying to squeeze in a bunch of details in really small panels and images, because that's crazy and it looks bad, to be quite honest with you. Because you're not going to see all the details when you're reading the comic anyways. It's not going to pick up. Like down here, there's just enough detail in Paul being thrown while being very little in the background for like Jin and whatnot, because you don't need it. So it's one of those picking your battles type things, but you don't really need a lot of detail in really small things that can't be seen. Just sort of learning a lesson as I keep going in my whole comic book journey of picking your battles as to what needs to be drawn and what doesn't need to be drawn. I feel like I say that in a lot of these videos when I'm critiquing actual comics, but it needs to be said both for my brain and anybody else who's watching this that may think like me. Like, sometimes you just gotta know what's important to this panel, and if it is important, I need to draw it, and if it's not, I don't. Or it needs to be placed with enough detail for you to know what's going on without going crazy into detail, because it's a waste of time. And apparently, from the looks of this, they've been broken into, and Kazuya has shown up with Anna and an army of Jacks. It says to be continued. Alright, and that's the end. Yeah, it's just a breakdown, I guess, of the covers. Now, like I said, this right here, the one that's just the video game cover. Okay, so this is the cover of the next issue, which that's kind of amazing. I'm now thinking, like, did they already have the pages done and the covers laid out before even doing the next issue of the comic? But that's about it. I actually love the artwork of this comic. And to break down like real American or Western style looks for comics, a nice change of pace from all the manga stuff I've been looking at recently. So, and reading, because who am I kidding? I've said earlier that I've gone back and started reading Dragon Ball from the beginning. So it's nice to get an American comic book in every now and then. But this looks awesome. I love the way this comic looks. And shots like this, like you get the impact of this punch, like the way this is drawn is amazing. And the use of effects, because obviously it's a nice blur that they put on the end of that punch there to make it look more dramatic. Something to sort of keep in mind and stick in my back pocket as I look at this. But yeah, like, this is awesome. And now I've got to look and see if there are more Tekken comics out there. But if anybody knows, and I'll try looking myself if I can find it, but if anybody knows if there are actual Tekken mangas out there, please let me know, as I'm definitely interested in seeing like a Japanese manga form of Tekken as well. Because what's also blown my mind, and I hope I can find the image of it, I not too long ago came across this, which is a manga of the Mortal Kombat movie, which I had no idea was a thing. Sadly, it's in Japanese, and I don't read Japanese, but I've seen the Mortal Kombat movie about 1,000,000 times in life, so well aware of the story. This is mind-blowing to me. So yeah, if anybody can find obscure like fighting game comics or manga or anything to like point me in the direction of the artwork or the actual comics themselves, please do. Yeah, I'm gonna actually get out of here. Let me know what you think of the actual comic itself and the look and feel of it in the comments below. Also, if you like the video, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And you all have a good one, and I'm out.